Ready?
Oh. Take a look.
So it looks like the first map will be starting soon on Metalopolis. Just want to make sure everything is, in fact, functioning properly on the left of the stage. It looks like Tasteless is going to step away for a moment. But either way, our first map is going to be Metalopolis. Artosis, I know that you as a Zerg player do like this map quite a bit, and especially with that recent patch change where the Roaches got that boost to range 4, which doesn't sound like much, but is a tremendous change. Do you think that Loner is going to be comfortable on this map?
I think Loner's going to be comfortable on any map. He's a really great player, but as far as this map goes, this is going to be the best map in the pool for Sen. He's going to love it, especially if he spawns far away. It's so hard for Terran to actually get across that map and attack Sen because he's going to be able to make a lot of drones, and in the time it takes to walk to his base, he can then make a lot of units. So it's going to be a really hard map for Loner. If he can take this map, then he's going to be in really good shape.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Nick, it looks like you have some updates for us from off stage.
The only update is that we're ready to start the game. Are you guys ready?
The best of updates.
All right, let's do this.
And of course, did want to let any of you know, for any of you who didn't get the chance to see that epic Boxer versus Fruit Dealer match, the stream did cut out at the very end yesterday, but it's okay because it's all up. Go to blizzcon.com. You can definitely take a look at those recordings, and we wouldn't want you to miss the action because it was awesome.
It was pretty sick. Okay, over here on our screen at the bottom right, we have Loner. Are there any Loner fans in the audience? And actually spawning quite close to him over here. In the red as a Zerg is our player Sen. Anybody think Sen could take this game?
Wow. A lot of Sen fans out there, and well, that's the way it should be, man, because Sen has been playing so much in the English-speaking community for years and years. An old member of Templars of Twilight, now a member of Fnatic, and just an all-around baller Zerg.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that was always so impressive to me about Sen is that he wasn't just someone who just grinded with one race. He's actually extremely talented with Terran and Protoss, and that really helps to give him an excellent sense of how all the matchups work because he has done a lot of the strategies that he is combating against. And kind of like you were saying, Nick, he would also thrash me in Brood War, but also with Terran and Protoss too.
Yeah, and one cool thing about Sen, he always falls back on his mechanics. He's a macro Zerg, always has been, always will be. And whenever he used those other races, he used that basic knowledge, those strong strategies to actually, do well.
Interestingly enough, Sen did have the option to turn the Overlord around here, but instead decides to go all the way through the other player's base. He wants to get probably positioning somewhere in the back here to try to see if he's going to get an expansion. Yeah, so Sen does reveal the Overlord in this case.
I think it's a good choice by Sen. That Overlord doesn't have a good hiding spot against that position. You kind of have to fly it behind the third base. So he has to go right through there, watch for any add-ons if he can, and get it out of the way before any Marines are out.
Absolutely. Here comes the scouting SCV from Loner. Taking a look over here. A lot of these top Zergs right now going hatchery first. Fruit Dealer and Sen. Both two very talented Zergs. I really have a lot of respect for these guys. Loner is going to see that his opponent does indeed have an expansion quite early and opts to not get the tech lab right away, but instead get one Marine to drive that Overlord out.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that point you make about getting the hatch before the spawning pool. We can see that Sen is already trying to track down Loner's SCV to prevent any sort of bunker goofiness from beginning at the front of his base. But with that recent patch change, the barracks must have a supply depot constructed before you can build the barracks. So that has put a huge damper on Terran early aggression, and that really is why Zergs are opting to do these big early expand plays. But interestingly enough, no gas for Sen yet. What are your thoughts on this, Artosis?
I really like the no gas yet. Getting a very late gas nowadays is fine. You don't really need speedlings. Roaches can hold off Reaper harass, and between Queens and Spine Crawlers, you can do fine against Hellions. So just getting the later gas is going to allow him to mine more minerals, get a bigger economy going, and then just explode his gas all at once.
We have a bunker coming down here, and it looks like he is going to send one Marine out. Second Marine on the way. But Ling's already out. I'm actually questioning this decision by Loner. This seems like awkward timing.
Well, the good thing about it is that sometimes it scares the Zerg player into overproducing Zerglings. Sometimes you're going to panic. You're like, oh no, it's BlizzCon, I'm getting Bunker Rush. And you make like 10 Zerglings, and then suddenly your economy is garbage. But Sen, he kept his cool. He only produced 2 more Zerglings during that little rush. He realized nothing was going to happen. That's Sen, man. He can keep his cool in any circumstance.
Now, I'm really curious to see how Loner's going to continue off this strategy. He's only made 2 Marines, and at the front of his base, he's repelling these scouting Zerglings. And in his main, he's getting Hellions, making a few Marines, but there's an extremely fast starport, and wow, then a command center. I mean, perhaps he could be going for some sort of early drop, perhaps going for, oh no, he is going for a very fast Banshee. There's the tech lab going down on the factory. Add-ons do help you make more complex units in this game, and you can swap the add-ons. So he will be lifting off that factory and trading it to the starport to get a very fast Banshee.
Hellion on the move here, going across the map. He may try to slip inside the main, get some drones. Queen,
Ooh.
Very nice. Deflected the Queen.
Nice move there with the Queen by SEN. You know, that's why you get 2 Queens quickly. If you're not going to get your fast gas, you have to put 1 on the ramp to block any Hellion run-bys.
Yeah, I mean, even though those Queens are nice and fat, you still need to position them very, very carefully on that ramp. It's so easy for Hellion to squeeze by. And as we heard with the cheer from the crowd, SEN has finished off that Hellion by his base and is sending 6 roaches. Doesn't sound like much, but Loner already going to be under a lot of pressure, building a bunker at his ramp, has Marines, expansion almost done, and that Banshee is en route.
And that Banshee is actually a great choice here, Day. I mean, the roaches are going to come up. They can't hit air units. The Banshee is going to be able to repel them and maybe kill them on their way home. But in the meantime, no cloak being researched, so the 2 Queens that SEN has will make his drones completely safe at home.
Banshee on the move now. Roaches going towards the front. 1 bunker should be okay. How many drones will he get? Will the Queen be able to defend? Let's find out in a second.
Smartly, SEN backs up the Queen, grabs the other Queen, goes up to engage the Banshee, but still gonna kite some drones here. Looks like he's killed just 1 so far.
Oh yes, just a little bit of mistiming there with the firing. Those drones were able to pop into the geyser, so he has a lot of drones at orange life, but none that are actually killed. But look at this, all the drones are having to retreat back. He's gonna try to pick off extra ones. He's even gonna just take hits on the Banshee so he can pick off extra drones. Still only 4 kills, has to be careful. He's gonna be able to get surrounded. Oh no, oh, the Banshee is gonna be trapped, and it's at 14 health, 5 health, and oh my goodness, that actually is a big blunder there by SEN.
Yeah, that was actually a remarkable Banshee micro. He's done everything right so far, and now a Viking comes into play, and there are a lot of overlords around the map that were meant for scouting. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage to SEN with this Viking.
The Viking now cutting down the supply. Of course, the overlords, much like just like a pylon or a depot. And as you can see up here at the top right side of our screen, he was in the red only seconds ago. Beautiful control here with this Viking. And that is going to block SEN from producing any more units for the time being.
You know, this is actually some of the best kiting I have ever seen with Vikings and with Banshees. He's just flying around at the maximum ranges and doing so much damage.
And what's interesting about this harass, you notice that even we, the observers, were following that Banshee, following that Viking. That's exactly where SEN's focus has been as well. And in the meantime, Loner has planted down an expansion. And look at this nice little juicy army that Loner has built up. Some Marauders, a lot of Marines. In his main, he has a ton of barracks, tech labs, reactors out. He is already going into big macro mode, and it's going to be tough for SEN unless he does get this 3rd expansion up and running at the far north.
A little riskier for SEN putting these roaches in the middle of the map with a Banshee out here. No way for the roaches to defend themselves. The Banshee coming back inside here. Looks like he will be driven out.
It looks like this Banshee is going to be caught by another Queen, and I like this, putting some supply depots in front of the natural, and SEN walking around with a few roaches while he takes his 3rd base, but the Banshee going to find SEN's 3rd hatchery, and it deals damage just so fast, SEN has to get some anti-air up there, or he's going to have to cancel the hatchery.
Oh.
The roach is being driven out. The Banshee still doing damage.
Looks like these roaches are doing a little bit of retreat, just a little bit of poking, but not going to be too terrible. And it looks like Loner needs to pay attention, and he's going to lose that Wraith. Oh, Banshee. Wrong game.
Well, right now we see that SEN's getting a lot of upgrades. He's staying the Roach route, getting ranged attack, Zergling speed, and Roach speed all at once. Kind of Fruit Dealer-esque there. So that's interesting that we're actually going to see Roach-based play in a Zerg versus Terran. We have not seen that really since Beta Phase 1.
This Viking might take out this Overlord. Nice kill there. And the army is pushing out. Timing attack here from Loner.
And this is interesting. Right now, his stim is almost done. His concussive shells are almost done. He's not going to want to engage until those are both done, but he is on the creep. A little bit dangerous. If SEN knew he didn't have any right now, he may engage, but here we go. It looks like stim just about to finish. Loner realizes it's not quite done, and I like the fact he has his Viking landed for some extra damage with this army.
All right, now he has to have a good surround here, the Zerg player does. He has to be very careful. Oh, hold that thought, actually. He's going to do it for a drop. Over here at this expansion, I don't know if this is a wise decision. I think he could have actually gone straight forward and attacked, but Loner doesn't have the intel that we have because we're the observers. So he's going to drop over here.
Ooh, I kind of like this. He looks like he just wants to maybe pick off the queen if possible and run away. Roaches do not hit air, of course. And look at that. Almost gets the queen and really doesn't lose that much for that harassment. That's a good move by Loner. I really like that attack.
Yeah, and I mean, that was so smart. Moving to the front of his opponent's base, we immediately saw that Sen was going to be making a lot more roaches, and there's the Contaminate on the factory that, of course, delays any construction of things from that building for 30 seconds. But very good play by Loner, moving up, forcing his opponent to make a lot of roaches, which, of course, like you said, can't shoot up. And that protects these medevacs. So and it looks like another drop going into the main, but don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, it looks like Speedlings and Roaches blocking those medevacs from doing anything, but at least Loner is prodding. The problem with a Roach and Ling-based army, ooh, look at this, he's going to unload here and use the low ground as well. Sen is going to want to gather everything up into the main base, and looks like this queen may go down.
Queen taken out here. Meanwhile, the main army moving over here, picks it back up into the medevac. Stim.
Oh, that's a huge surround. And look at this, both players using the high and low ground. Loner re-unloading at the top, picking off a lot of Lings and Roaches, but here comes Sen from the north side with a giant Roach army, but his main is looking increasingly vulnerable. Loner has a lot of units there, but look at the Roach count from Sen. That's the macro that made Sen famous. And Loner is in a full-out retreat, and wow, Sen, uh-oh. Loner doing a little bit of pushing back action himself. He is not giving up with this attack yet.
You know, this is some of the best Terran play I have ever seen. During all this, you can see on the mini-map, Loner is taking a third base. That's something we have seen lacking from so many other Terrans. So he is keeping his macro up while he's being aggressive, not wasting any units, dancing back and forth. Just remarkable Terran play.
And look at that north expansion. Not many drones mining there at all. This is the power of pressure. Loner is constantly attacking, constantly basically freaking Sen out, and Sen has no opportunity to make queens or drones.
So we have an attack, it looks like coming up here, a push, heading towards the north. Note the creep has been spread out even further here. He does have infestors as well.
And it looks like one lone Roach at that expansion is going to get some kills, and Loner's going to begin wailing away at it with his drones. Going to take quite a while to kill that off, but it looks like Sen is also swinging from the north side with more Roaches, just wants to delay mining from that expansion as much as possible.
Yeah, with that 4-range Roach, you can actually harass expansions that have planetaries on the back middle patches, but it looks like it is time for Loner to move up for another attack. Does a scan. He wants to take out some creep tumors so that he can do a much better job of this attack.
Here come, their tanks are in siege mode. Banelings are on the way. The planetary fortress will manage to take out these Roaches. Here comes the attack now.
Oh, look at that huge spread by Loner. He's doing so much damage. Fungal growth on those back units. They will be trapped. Hydralis also dealing a lot of damage at the back, but it looks like Sen has to retreat. Loner doing some amazing macro there. Overlord's getting caught off guard, floating right over the Marines and the Marauders. Oh no, Sen trying to do surround, even bringing his queen into battle, but another stim. 3 medevacs. The tank is sieging. Sen is running out of options.
That's right. It looks like Sen has almost no army left. If we take a look at the supplies real quick, 91 against 122. Loner's doing an excellent job here. And look at this positioning below the ramp. It funnels all the units coming out into a small choke point. And Loner is he is playing amazingly, Tasteless.
He is just taking him out right now. Reinforcements coming up here. Loner's control has been too good this game, and he made a great decision making that planetary fortress back here, if we can take a look at it for just a second. But the battle continues on up here as Loner is very close to possibly winning this game unless Sen could pull a rabbit out of his hat.
But rabbits, you know, they are not that good right now in StarCraft 2, a recent nerf to them. And it looks like Roach is coming down the ramp, getting pounded by these Marauders. And this is the problem with Roach-based play. The Marauder, Marine, Medevac, and tank composition, it's very hard to close with the Roaches. And
there's the good game.
Wow. Very impressive play.
He couldn't pull off that impressive rabbit transition.
You know, rabbits nowadays not as good as they used to be in phase 2 of the beta, if you recall. Well, that was actually a pretty awesome game. What do you think about Sen's play there, Day 9?
I mean, he played well. I think the big thing that let me tell you the problem, Artosis.
Okay, thanks.
He transitioned to Hydralisks, which I think ate up a little bit too much money at the wrong time. We were talking a lot about the power of aggression in that game. Loner kept attacking, but if you're against a more passive player, you have the time to get those Hydralisks. You have time to make the drones to help you get the money to build the Hydralisks. And by getting them too early, Loner saw that and just kept attacking and attacking and attacking, and Sen just basically ran out of stuff.